violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Ellen, today, Chicago's pervasive gun violence problem was once again the source of whataboutism. Tonight, Mayor Lightfoot and Governor Pritzker are both fiercely defending the city and state's strict gun laws. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has proudly promoted his state's gun-friendly laws. Pressed on if those permitless carry laws played a part in the state's deadliest school shooting, Abbott deflected.
There are more people who were shot every weekend in Chicago than there are in schools in Texas.
And he's not lying, okay? I know that everybody is in an uproar about this shooting done by Salvador Ramos. And he was a weird guy, okay? He was into a lot of weird things. But I think the bigger issue is they're trying to push for gun laws, or if you would have done this, you would have done that. We need resource officers in the school, armed resource officers. Okay, don't the armed teachers thing. No, because these teachers are getting violated in these schools by these super gremlins on demon time. I don't know how many times I have done a video where the student is bucking up at the teacher. Bruh, if these teachers had guns, these students will take the gun right off their hip. And they're not going to try that with a resource officer. So they definitely need those resource officers involved. Some armed, some unarmed, but they definitely should be in every school, okay? And, you know, it should be like community guys, not no, you know, dudes who coming from this place and that place and all that kind of stuff. Because you need a community, man. You need a community, and you need to get the schools to be safe. These schools are, you know, they're targets, okay? They're soft targets. And until you realize that and answer that question, then you're not going to see any real results. But, you know, I will give them credence. It was kind of a deflection. You can't blame the governor for this, all right? You can only say, hey, this is what we need to do further. We need resource officers in the school. Okay, point blank. That's what I think. But they're talking about defunding the police, so I don't know how they're going to have the resources to do that. But, you know, in my city, we have school officers, okay? You got Fulton County school officers who are at the school, all right? I'm not saying the officers got to come in and break up fights and all this kind of stuff. But they should definitely be, you know, looking for high threat alerts.
And we need to realize that people who think that, well, maybe if we could just implement tougher gun laws, it's going to solve it. If you're looking for a real solution, Chicago teaches that what you're talking about is not a real solution.
It's a long-standing Republican trope to try to put a city like Chicago in their mouths and criticize us. That guy needs to focus on taking care of business there.
Governor Pritzker, who signed gun legislation last week banning untraceable ghost guns, admonished Governor Abbott.
So they banned ghost guns in Chicago, which you're already not supposed to have, okay? Effective.
In a tweet saying, "Shame on you. You are lying about Chicago and what actually perpetuates gun violence. The majority of guns used in Chicago shootings come from states with lax gun laws." Controlling Chicago's rampant gun violence was the...
So Chicago is trying to blame their gun violence on other states having lax gun laws and having the guns come into Chicago. Either way, you make the guns illegal, and then you have people who are bringing them in the state. So you have to solve the issue of, you know, what are we going to do because all these people are bringing in these guns? You can't just say, oh, well, this state needs to do this. You can't blame it on another state. Okay. And that's what they're trying to do, is make that a federal issue. That's what I'm hearing from that. Like, they're trying to make this a federal issue, when it kind of is, because ATF takes on these cases. But I mean, there's an issue with the people in Chicago, what y'all are doing with them, letting them out when they do break the law. Okay. And we're going to see that.
The center of a heated city council debate today over changing youth curfew.
We want it to stop in Texas. We want it to stop on the south side of Chicago. We want our children to live.
We as elected officials have to stand up and make sure that we're doing our very best to make sure that we're providing a future.
Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul also tweeted that he was appalled by Governor Abbott deflecting using Chicago's gun violence. He says leaders here in this state are appalled by daily gun violence in Chicago and the mass shooting in Texas. He says something can be done about both.
Representative LaShawn Ford called a press conference on violence in the city of
God. She thick. She cold.
Chicago today. Statistics show guns are the leading cause of death of Illinois children ages 1 to 17 years old. The CDC says 1 in 5 children have a mental, emotional, or behavioral health disorder, and only 20% of them receive care from a healthcare provider.
Wow. So she said a lot there. Number 1 cause of death between kids between 1 and 17 are these super gremlins on demon time. Okay. She also said that 1 in 5 kids in Chicago have mental disorders or health issues, and then only 20% of those people are getting treated for that. So obviously they're trying to make it a mental health issue. And my thing it all starts at the home. A lot of these kids are getting exposed to being grown way too early. All right. And being grown, what I mean by being grown is being out on your own, having to take care of yourself. Because they parents are not together. We all know in the community, 75% of the kids that come out of the community come from single parent households. And like I always say, mama just can't discipline the kids. Okay. She can't. All right. So there's an issue there.
Ford says there needs to be an emergency approach like we saw during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. The state rep says it will take parents, policymakers, schools, and faith leaders to create change. We heard from a 15-year-old that was shot and also an emergency room doctor at Lurie Children's Hospital.
I was walking to the store and then I just got shot. I got shot 5 times.
Dang. My man got shot 5 times. And they will call him a snitch. They will call him a snitch. Okay? For doing this. It takes intense bravery to come and speak out against this stuff. And, you know, I get heat. I get flack. They come in my comment section with all the smoke. And, you know, hey, God bless you. Keep it moving. Sometimes I'll make an example out of them in my community posts. But there are people in the community that want you to continue to go through this. There are people in the community that want you to continue to suffer, to be in fear. And I'm saying no.
I had a teenager who had sustained a gunshot wound and was in critical condition. They were 3 minutes away. The moment when you hear a message like this, there is automatically a jolt in your heart and in your stomach. This is a life or death situation, and we were going to need to act fast.
Ford and others will meet tomorrow for the Illinois House Public Safety and Violence Prevention Task Force. It focuses on trauma, structural racism, and also mental health right here in the state.
Structural racism. So they're gonna make them be a victim again. Okay. Look, man. They're already losing from the victim mentality. Let's have an empowerment mentality or something. Like, dang.
for youth. Anthony?
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Medgar Evers, and it's a very tranquil scene compared to just a couple hours ago where a drive-by shooting
just took place. Excuse me, I'm getting live updates as we speak. I've just been updated to the amount of casualties from this drive-by shooting, and I'm getting reports that 2 people were actually declared deceased and 27 others were shot and injured but are in stable condition. And although we must pray for the families of the fallen, we must also praise God for the aim of the Super Gremlin. If you want to know more about the victims of this crime, make sure you add BGZM News 17 on Patreon at www.patreon.com/blackgenzmindset. Also, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment on the video to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. For more hard-hitting news coverage from the community, by the community, I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And cut.
All right, dogs. Let's get the out of here before these niggas come back.
Whoa. Yo.
Whoa.
Ain't that nigga J?
Nah, that ain't me. That ain't me.
He just went live
That
with
ain't
that
me.
funky ass suit on.
That's that nigga. That's not me.
Hey, get that nigga.
Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Pray for me.
New data released this week by the FBI shows a 50% increase in mass shootings from 2020 to 2021.
So the FBI is putting out data now? What the heck? I thought they said they ain't have the data. Bruh. Hey, look, man. I don't want no smoke from the alphabet community, neither the LGBT or the other 3-letter agencies, but I mean, this sounds like some big cap. They said they ain't have the crime data for 2021. Now they talking about, mass shootings increased for 50%. So y'all are obviously tracking something. That's some BS.
Just 1 year, and that trend is continuing.
Maybe someone should put out a FOIA on those 2021 crime stats. I mean, whatever they got, we should be able to see it, right? So I don't know.
Continuing, as of Tuesday, the Gun Violence Archive reports at least 213 mass shootings for this year. This year's even done yet. This is more mass shootings than days in 2022. Let's bring in former FBI agent Ross Rice into this conversation for more perspective. Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure, Tia.
Dang, when she turned to the side, you know, she do got some shoulders on her, but that's because she carrying a lot up there. Hey, look, they say I ain't rocking with the sisters. I'm rocking with it.
Let's first start out talking about that report. In just 1 year, a 50% increase in mass shootings. What do you attribute something like that to?
Well, I'm not an expert in sociology, but based on people that are and that study this, mental illness seems to be the driving factor. And if you look at 2020 with the onset of the pandemic, and all of the issues that went along with that and carrying over to this year, I think it affected a lot of people in negative ways. And it just shows that, to me, mental illness is a societal issue in this country. It's going undiagnosed, untreated. And I think that's the root cause of a lot of...
Refund the asylums. Refund the asylums. I know they got all this... these movies and these shows about, the asylums were the worst type of treatment and all this kind of stuff. Hey, there were some messed up asylums, I'm not gonna lie, but we need some these dudes can't just be rocking out here like that, you know? And they said there are 213 mass shootings reported this year, and we all know where the bulk of those mass shootings are coming from. These super gremlins on demon time.
These problems.
You know, we spoke about this as all of this was unraveling yesterday, and you talked about a commonality between many of these mass shooters. Now, we know that data released this week found a commonality in active shooter and mass shooting incidents. What are the common traits seen among those gunmen?
Well, you know, it's important to distinguish between mass shootings in general and school shootings.
Right. Because what are the common traits that you could about these mass shootings? So, okay, we got to distinguish mass shootings from school shootings because the mass shootings are way different from the school shootings. The mass shootings are Pookie and Ray Ray pull up on the block, air the block out, and, you know, shoot 6 people and kill a 6-year-old girl. Okay. Or Pookie and Ray Ray pull up and you know, at the house and, you know, shoot 3 or 4, or it's got to be 4 or more people in the house. So the FBI classifies mass shootings as an incident where 4 or more people are shot. Okay. They don't even have to die. But if I'm just chilling on a block, I see 4 dudes at the corner store and I spray the block up and I hit 4, including the clerk, that's a mass shooting. So one of them could have died. None of them could have died. Okay. But the school shooting, that's a whole different situation. So you have to differentiate who's doing the school shootings, who's doing the public event shootings, which the community probably got that one too, because we saw in Texas there was a public event shooting where 1 person died and 10 people shot at that little concert that they threw, that field concert. Okay, and if you don't remember that, go back into my videos. But yeah, so there has to be a differentiation because if you want to talk about mass shootings, okay, who's doing most of the mass shootings? These super gremlins on demon time. Okay, who's doing public event shootings and school shootings? Now we can narrow it down and say, oh, okay, well, you know, gliders can take that one. But even then, we got Timothy Simpkins too, and he was a school shooter. A lot of schools in the community get shot up too. So you have to say, okay, mass casualty. You have to break that bracket down even more and say, okay, mass casualty school shootings. And then we can say, okay, the gliders got that one.
In particular, with the shooting in Uvalde yesterday, the profile that has emerged of the shooter fits perfectly with the profile that the FBI developed starting 20 years ago after Columbine. You have a minor, or in this case, he had just turned 18, resident of the community, former student in that district. I don't know if he ever went to that school or not.
And he took out his grandma as well, so weirdo.
And he apparently had social media posts indicating what he was going to do. And those posts went unnoticed or unresponded to by authorities. We don't know yet. That's going to be part of the investigation.
And he wasn't banned off any social media apps too. They need to make that be clear because he had a TikTok and the TikTok did not get taken down, but they steady taking down my TikTok. Yo, the game is rigged, bro. It's almost like they set it because, I mean, look, if I go to my TikTok right now, let me see what it says. It says, oh, account warning in the profile, account warning. But when we went to his TikTok, it didn't say nothing about no account warning. He was posting some weirdo stuff and he never got no account warning, never got no account notification. They got you. They're demonetizing you. They demonetized my TikTok. They're demonetizing everybody else. Okay, so you can't make money. You can't make money. You can't make money, but you can go do a mass school shooting. How the frick does any of this make sense? I guarantee he didn't get one community guideline strike or one alert or warning. I guarantee. And he was posting straps on story on Instagram, bro. This is, man, y'all about to get me heated in this mug.
But certainly for someone to go into an elementary school and shoot up a room full of 9 and 10-year-olds, there has to be a degree of mental illness involved in that. And again, I'm not saying that from a doctor.
Now they're trying to give him the mental illness out. I can't imagine you guys can study his brain. It's probably mush right now.
Medical standpoint, but just common sense would tell you that.
Now let's talk about this part. The FBI has established a profile of a mass shooter. What are the signs that we should all be looking out for? And then, for example, you talked about that social media presence. There were people that saw some of that stuff out there. When should people consider actually going to law enforcement?
Exactly. And the girl that he DM'd, I mean, she didn't really have anything, honestly. Law enforcement, when he said, "I'ma air out," that was probably the most you could do, and you have to take them to Urban Dictionary like we did in my live video and define air out. But I'm gonna tell you guys right now, man, these social media, they need to focus on the real issue, not people who are trying to do the right thing. If you're doing the right thing, making money, bro, and they will censor you for doing the right thing on social media. It's crazy.
Immediately. Now, again, I don't know if people saw his post in Texas before the shooting or if that was discovered after the fact.
They did.
We'll have to wait.
He was tagging IG chicks and all time. Man, come on.
And see what the investigation reveals. But, you know, at this point in time, if somebody is making a threat like that, you have to take it seriously. The stakes are just too high. And a lot of times shootings like this, like a lot of crimes, they're preceded with social media posts, with comments to other people, with stark, dramatic changes in the person's personality, their activities, their behavior. And that should be a warning sign to people that know them, to friends, to family, to neighbors, to contact the police. And I can tell you that law enforcement doesn't take this lightly.
No.
Yeah.
And you can't, especially given the circumstances in this day and age that we're living.
Bro, let me know in the chat, bro. Does she have? Is this natural or is this BBL material? Because Shorty is like, she, yeah, I mean, she got that over. I ain't gonna lie. Let me know what y'all think.
Former FBI agent Ross Rice, it's always a pleasure to have you joining us here on First and Fourth. Thank you for being here.
I'm Natalie Bumke with a frightening situation that unfolded this morning while our colleagues were live on the
stark difference
air. Chicago police have issued a community alert about the incident. They are trying to track down the man in these photos. Around 7 o'clock this morning at the corner of Clark and Hubbard, while our reporter was in the middle of a live report.
Y'all seen that? I told you how sneaky these super gremlins were. Look.
At the corner of Clark and Hubbard, while our
woo pointed the strap at the cameraman behind the news lady's head. Live on air. After grabbing what? Y'all see that in the corner? Okay, a mocha cappuccino from Starbucks. So we're supposed to believe that this dude is disenfranchised, all types of oppressed, when it looked like he might have had a Sprite and a mocha frappuccino. It's either cappuccino or frappuccino. The frappuccino is the cold one, the cappuccino is the hot one, right? Yeah. So it looks like he got the hot one because the frappes, they put the like dome lid on it and then you can like sip it. You know, shout out to Starbucks. But look, it looks like this is carbonated. So he got the Sprite and the cappuccino. That's at least $10 in the shot. So if you got $10 to spend on a Sprite and a cappuccino, bruh, either your priorities are messed up or you not as oppressed as you saying.
Around 7 o'clock this morning at the corner of Clark and Hubbard, while our reporter was in the middle of a live report about gun violence in Chicago, a man walked up and pointed what appeared to be a firearm at our crew. Right now, police...
And then skipped away. Look at the way he skipped. It's very similar to the way Akil Crumpton skipped when he killed that racetrack attendant in Watkinsville. Okay, if you guys saw that video that I did. But look, he's skipping away. I told you, they think it's fun, bruh.
Gun violence in Chicago. A man walked up and pointed what appeared to be a firearm at our crew. Right now, police are calling this man a person of interest, accused of aggravated assault with a firearm. If you have any information regarding who he is or where he is, please contact Chicago police. Our reporter and photographer were not injured, and we want to say thank you to the viewers who are watching Good Day Chicago and called or emailed to make sure our crew was okay. Dawn?
All right, guys, so I did want to just kind of show you guys a better image of Buddy. At least he didn't have a Pooh Shiesty mask on, otherwise it would have been impossible to find him. I'm sure he's got more charges. I'm sure he's probably out on some type of supervised release or ankle monitor or bail. I can almost guarantee it. Or he might have a warrant out for his arrest. Who knows? But like I said, the main issue in Chicago are these repeat offenders. That is one of the biggest issues that we continue to see. So there's an issue with the law throwing these dudes back out here. Now, obviously, with the Uvalde shooting, it's not the same. You can't compare those two, okay? Especially to the rarity that occurs, even though it's horrible and it's horrendous and it affects so many people. It is rare for those types of school shootings to occur, whereas these mass shootings are so common, okay? They really are. And this could have been a mass shooting too. He could have shot the news lady. He could have shot the the cameraman, and then he could have shot in the van where there could have been other people, or just hit a couple innocent bystanders if he would have released that trigger. And my thing is, they're charging him with aggravated assault. But, I mean, with an aggravated assault charge in Chicago, you're probably not getting no time.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.